All right, good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening. I am going to make just a slight change on the agenda. I'm going to move public comment just down just slightly after new business item number 1. We've got a very short agenda after this, and if there's people here, Shriners and some other people, that'll give them a chance.
We can't hear you very well.
Okay.
Can't hear nothing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, great. So I'm going to move the public comments down just a little bit. That will give the chance for anyone who is here for consent agenda or new business item number 1 for the Shriners. We'll get that business out of the way first, and then we'll have time for the public comments right after that. So we will start with public hearing. Hold a public hearing for the purpose of receiving comments to request a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale and consumption of alcohol for consumption within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners event weekend at the Johnson County Fairground. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion McNear, second Deaton, that we open a public hearing for the purpose of receiving comments to a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale and consumption of alcoholic liquor and cereal malt beverages for consumption within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners Rodeo and Demo Derby to be held June 11th through June 13th, 2026 at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, 136 East Washington Street. Is there a motion? We did the motion. Okay, so the hearing is open.
We got to vote. We got to vote.
Oh, okay, is there? Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Okay. The hearing is open. Seeing no one coming forward for this, I would hear a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Public hearing is closed. So then we will move through consent agenda, planning and zoning, and then new business item number 1, I would assume fairly quickly, and then we'll get to public comments. So is there a council member who would like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin. We approve consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Consent agenda passes. Planning and zoning, is there an item you'd like to remove?
Number 1.
Number 1. Is there a motion for items number 2 and 3?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Deaton, second Johnson. We approve items 2 and 3. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? 2 and 3 pass. Planning and zoning consent agenda item number 1, consider accepting the dedication of right-of-way and easements on the final plat for Aspen Place final plat.
I think the only question I have is, so this is the start of the process again for Aspen Place. What will happen after this? So they're gonna, the plat is for the streets and really to address the issues that caused the issues a year ago. What are the steps then after that for potentially to start having occupancy again? Is there, kind of like the next steps?
So they have to put together a plan or present a plan for the public improvements. So they've identified the right-of-way. We're going to require curb and gutter, sidewalks, and all the setbacks. We're still working with them on wastewater through Johnson County wastewater, water lines and things of that nature. So this is just dedication of right-of-way. We're still working through the other parts of it.
Okay, so there'll be more coming
Yes.
forth. Okay,
Yes.
I'm good.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion for consent agenda item number 1?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Ween, second Deaton. We accept the dedication of right-of-way and easements for the final plat of Aspen Place final plat. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained? Passes. And then new business item number 1, consider a request for a waiver of the distance limitation and temporary permit to allow for the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners event weekend at the Johnson County Fairgrounds.
Good evening. This is the annual request for the waiver of the distance for the Abdallah Shriners Rodeo and Demo Derby at the Johnson County Fairgrounds from June 11th through June 13th. They're going to serve from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. each night, and they just are requesting the waiver of the distance for that sale and consumption.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Is there any questions from council?
No, they've always done a good job.
They have. All right. Do I hear a motion?
No concerns from you, right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion Deaton, second McNair. We approve a request for a waiver of the distance limitation to allow for the sale and consumption of cereal and malt beverages within 200 feet of a school, church, or library during the Abdallah Shriners Rodeo and Demo Derby to be held June 11th through June 13th, 2026 at the Johnson County Fairgrounds, 136 East Washington Street. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained. New business item number 1 passes. All right, so now let's move back up to public comments. A couple things. We want to let everyone speak. There is going to be, as always, a 5-minute time limit. There is a 5-minute clock to your left, up there. We ask that you do say your name and address for the record, and we would appreciate no personal attacks. We certainly want you to get your feedback. I did ask if our city administrator could say just a few words on kind of the process to where we are now.
So the question is, why would Gardner entertain a data center? So the simple answer is that we received an application. We are statutorily required to review the application and put it before the Planning Commission and the City Council. The City Council is a quasi-judicial body, so they are required to review it, gather the information, and vote on it. So the acceptance of the application in no way implies that the city or the council is in favor of the data center. It's a process we have to go through. So that's how we got to this point. It is not pre-approved. There's been no adjudication of the application. It's something that we're required to go through.
Thank you. Yep, sure. And there is, I believe this was mentioned, but there is no action being taken tonight on the data center. It's not on the agenda. The next, I believe, would be the Planning Commission meeting on May 26th.
On Tuesday.
And the informative session, Town Hall, on May 13th. Okay, so we will open it up. And one more thing, this is not a back and forth. We don't typically answer questions or get in a conversation or debate. But this is time for you to give us your information and your feedback. So we will open the public hearing, or I'm sorry, public comments. You're welcome to come forward.
My name is Frank Bannister, 19815 South Gardner Road, Gardner, Kansas. And I just simply have some comments that I want to put before the city council. And also, I think these comments are appropriate for the planning commission because I know it comes to the planning commission first before it comes before you. But I attended a meeting last week at the brewery across the street. It was a meeting, a general meeting sponsored by a couple of city council members, and I appreciate that. It was just a general information sharing. And so my neighbor called me and told me that meeting was going to take place, and I went. And I am not, at that point, at that time, a week ago, I was not very, I wasn't a learned person with regard to data centers. since then, I have done some reading, and you certainly have to be careful on what you read. AI generates a lot of truth and a lot of false information. But my request is that I don't think myself, I know I'm not an expert on it, and I don't know how many people behind me know what questions to ask about a data center. I think a lot of people are very, very concerned about electricity consumption, environmental pollution, tax deferment, light and noise pollution. And so I'm going to assume that that Beal, the company that wants to put in the data center, is going to provide to you or to the Planning Commission a environmental impact study and address all these items, and they should. But that may be good information. It may not be truth, because they're the ones wanting to build the data center. I would like to propose to the city to request an independent environmental impact evaluation. And, you know, I understand at the meeting the data center is going to be an air-cooled data center, not water-cooled, because water would be coming from Hillsdale, and Hillsdale cannot continue to supply water forever. So that's just one of the things that came up. But so I'm going to request that, and I think that the city and the Planning Commission would be the ones to do the background work, the technical investigation, and then present that information in your meetings to the public, and because you are our elected representatives, and I think that's your due diligence. I don't think the members of the public ought to have to go out and do their own research, because if we do, you're going to have however many people are here, that many different opinions on whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. So I would like to request an independent environmental impact to address the items that I listed, to present that at the appropriate time when this thing comes before the Planning Commission and you, the City Council. And I don't know what that would cost. I don't know if you have a budget for it, but something this big, I think you need to do that. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Amy Burrow, and I live at 19810 South Hedge Lane. I'm approximately 1 mile as the crow flies from the proposed data center. I have put in phone calls to many of you, and I appreciate it because a couple of you actually returned my phone call, and we had a really good conversation. There's a laundry list of reasons why I think this data center is bad, but let me just start with, I'm a second grade teacher. So children are always near and dear to my heart. My own children are grown. However, I feel like everyone in this room can agree that putting children first, it should always be our #1 priority. And I think looking at the research from the Pew Institute and from the Brookings Institute, the long-lasting impacts of these data centers are negative. And I know there's financial things about it that might be a net positive for parts of Gardner, but I don't feel like you can sacrifice my community for the well-being of others. This isn't like the movie Sophie's Choice. You don't get rid of one section to save another section. This data center can be put someplace else. I cannot pick up my home. These people cannot pick up their homes and move them someplace else. And I really think the bottom line is there's no moral ambiguity. You either want our children to be safe or you do not. And I'm not going to sacrifice for big business. I'm not, because I have to look these children in the eye. You have to look these children in the eye. And it's my children, your children, our children. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
There's music
Go ahead,
playing
speak
over
up a little,
her
honey.
voice. There's music playing loudly out here.
I just said my final
Someone please
thing.
stop it.
The final thing I want to say is I don't think there can be any moral ambiguity about this data center. It's our children, your children, all these children. It is to me black and white. We can't sell out for money. We can't. Thank you, thank you.
Hey, let's just take a quick pause here and figure out.
Hey, can we get the audio music working on that? Crack it back.
We're working on that right now, sorry. I don't know
Gotta
what
wait
it
till
is.
I speak. You can hear me. I promise you will hear me. And I won't stop until you can't hear me.
Wait for her 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't
Probably not louder than the generators.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I think it did stop.
I'm not opposed to repair.
Yeah, for the time being. Yeah, for now, yes. Thank you. And how much are they still going to use? Huh? You know what? You know how it works out, Joe. These people are millionaires and stuff. You better put it in writing. Don't believe what they say. Have you heard anything? Here across the country, hear those stories, and they're not getting in trouble for violating the laws. It's like, really? I got in trouble when I did something when I was a kid. Yes. We had a band. Just, you know, we count these people. That's what it is.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and pick it back up. I think, can everyone hear me out there in the back? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and continue, please. Yes, and just a reminder to speak into the microphone, please.
I got it. My name is Carrie Hamilton. I live at 24075 West 191st Street, Spring Hill, Kansas. I am here this evening to respectfully object to the proposed data center on the recently annexed 300-acre tract that sits directly adjacent to my family ranch and neighboring agriculture properties. My objection tonight is grounded in land usage and the impact it has on animal health, agriculture productivity, and environmental conditions. The Kansas law has long recognized the importance of protecting agricultural operations. The policy of the state of Kansas is clear. Farms should be protected from incompatible encroachment, not forced to absorb the burden of industrial development placed on our fence lines. Kansas law requires that zoning and land use decisions promote the health, the safety, and the general welfare of our community under Kansas KSA 12757. A data center is a continuous high-intensity industrial use placed in setting that directly conflicts with the character of our area. Science and agricultural research confirmed that a change in environmental factors like those brought along from data centers, things like light pollution, air quality, water quality, low frequency noise, all of these things have a long-lasting impact on living things within the proximity of that data center. Not just on humans, but on livestock as well. Research proves that data centers create elevated stress hormones in all of us, including my livestock, leading to things like a reduce in milk production, weight gain. It impairs reproductive performance, alters feeding, disrupts rest cycles. The list goes on. I could dive deeper and talk about how these data centers have negative impacts across a broader agricultural ecosystem, such as insect population, but I am going to trust that all of you are going to do that research for me. These impacts are not theoretical. They represent a direct conflict with conditions necessary for healthy livestock and viable agricultural operations. While annexation may be legally permissible, this dynamic underscores the importance of the council's responsibility to consider real-world impacts beyond city boundaries, particularly where those impacts fall on agricultural operations. My ranch is not empty land. It's not for industry. It is our livelihood. It's how we work. It's how we live. It's how we preserve the agriculture of the community. It's how we preserve the agriculture of Kansas. It's how we feed our family. It's how we feed the community. It's probably how we feed you. This is not a request to stop progress. It is a request to use common sense. Thank you all, and God bless.
I apologize if I get nervous. I'm not great at public speaking, so, but I kind of just wanted to make somewhat of a laundry list of some of the concerns that come up with these projects.
Speak up.
Yep, and if you could say your name. and
I'm
address.
Chris Mays from Ottawa, Kansas, as well. But some of the risks, or the risks and the drawbacks far outweigh the limited benefits in my mind. These things require massive amounts of electricity to power their servers and cooling systems. They strain local grids, raising electricity rates. They use massive amounts of water for evaporating cooling. I'm hearing this is air-cooled, but I mean, there's been bad experiences with that. They lead to competing demand and shortages of water. Even closed-loop systems may not truly be closed. They may still evaporate water and need to be refreshed. Industrial chemicals in wastewater may pollute the environment and aquifers even. These are toxic forever chemicals, things like industrial lubricants and things that get mixed in the water supply. Very concerning for me. I know that if I heard like a constant drone of lawnmowers in the background where I lived, my mental health would decline significantly. That would be very detrimental. And these things seem to be popping up all over the place, including in Ottawa, Kansas. And we're all very concerned, and we're trying to rally together as a good community, as stewards of the land and each other and our hells. We need to look out for each other. And all I see is risks and too little benefit. What are we going to get out of this? Some higher paying jobs in a small amount? You know, maybe they're going to bring in outside people and that money's not even going to stay here. I don't see the benefit. And I think that we're all in over our heads. I'll admit fully, I don't understand all of it, but I'm just seeing risk after risk and too little benefit. You need to look very hard at this and don't trust them. You've got to get a third-party independent research oversight to verify everything they say. I've heard stories of them conducting their own research and then presenting it as third party when it's not. So be very careful. You're walking into a briar patch with these people. They're big time investors. They don't care about the small people. They're just going to be looking for the tax breaks. And what's that? That's going to make it worse for us. You know, we're going to waste resources on them for things that we need. Let's not support them. Let's support ourselves. Let's look out for our own health and our own interests. The risks far outweigh the benefits. Thank you very much.
Hey, my name is Kyle Eisenbarger. I live at 24805 West 190th Street, directly across the road from the parcel that you guys will be voting on. I'm not here to ask you to reject growth. I'm here to ask you to follow Gardner's own plan and to think carefully about who actually bears the consequences of this decision. Let me start with what's on your own books, because that is the foundation of this entire vote. Gardner's I-35 and 175th Street sub-area plan does not even cover this site. The plan's southern boundary stops half a mile north of where Beal wants to build. And inside the area the plan does cover, the language is not aspirational. It uses the word shall. Compatibility shall be accomplished by transition of uses with low-intensity industrial along the perimeter adjacent to less intensive uses. Residential shall maintain a back-to-back relationship to more intense uses. A 300-acre hyperscale data center directly adjacent to existing homes with no transition zone is the inverse of what Gardner's adopted policy requires. Now I want to talk about who actually lives with the consequences, because this is not just a Gardner decision. The agricultural land that surrounds my home and surrounds many of my neighbors has been annexed into Gardner over the last couple of years. We are now completely surrounded by Gardner city limits on land that was not annexed with us. We pay Johnson County taxes, we send our kids to Gardner Edgerton schools, and we have no vote in this room. But the impact does not stop at our property line. Within a 5-mile radius of 191st and Clare, there are 15 schools serving roughly 7,400 children. More than 3,600 of them are in elementary school or younger. Those schools serve Gardner, they serve unincorporated Johnson County, and they serve families in Olathe and Spring Hill. Diesel backup generators that test routinely release fine particle matter. Particle matter does not respect city limits. It drifts on the wind. The children whose lungs absorb it live in 4 different jurisdictions. The families whose property values will fall live in 4 different jurisdictions. The residents whose sleep will be disrupted by this 24/7 live in 4 different jurisdictions. Only one of those jurisdictions gets a vote, though. I want you to think about that carefully, because it is the heart of why this site is wrong. Gardner is being asked to approve a project whose tax revenue stays inside Gardner, but whose noise, lights, diesel exhaust, traffic, and property values impact spill into Spring Hill, into Olathe, and to unincorporated families immediately adjacent. That is not regional leadership. That is exporting consequences while keeping the benefits. If a project at the edge of Olathe pushed industrial impacts into Gardner without consulting Gardner, without environmental review made public, without coordinating with Gardner's planning staff, this council would rightly object. You would call that being a bad neighbor. I'm asking you to not be that neighbor to the rest of Johnson County. And finally, I want to address the developer being given this opportunity. Beal Infrastructure was formed in August 2024, just 18 months ago. Its parent company, Blue Owl Capital, has lost 68% of its stock in the last 16 months. Its predecessor entity paid $11.5 million federal sanctions penalty in December for 4 years of dealing with a sanctioned Russian oligarch. Its sister company is a defendant in a $2 billion racketeering lawsuit. In the first 18 months, Beal has been rejected, sued, and forced to withdraw in Tucson, Arizona, and Marana, Arizona, where they are now suing the town themselves, in Coweta, Oklahoma, in St. Charles, Missouri, and in DeSoto, right down the road from us. There is no community where Beal has won a contested approval without litigation, withdrawal, or a referendum challenge. 4 legal disputes tied to Beal projects are active in Arizona right now, involving municipalities, residents, and state regulators. And Gardner is being asked to be the next one. So here's what I'm asking. A Apply Gardner's own sub-area plan. It exists for a reason. Honor it. Recognize that this decision affects far more people than just the residents of Gardner. It affects Spring Hill, Olathe, and unincorporated Johnson County families, and we're watching this vote. Their children breathe the same air, their homes lose the same value, and their land suffers the same environmental impacts. Do not be the council that exports consequences to your neighbors for the benefit of a developer whose track record is rejection, litigation, and withdrawal. This is not anti-growth. This is asking Gardner to be the kind of neighbor that Gardner expects others to be. Follow your plan. Thank you.
Anybody else wanna come on up? I'm gonna go up if it's okay. Me and my Pinocchio nose. I'm Pinocchio's sister. I didn't know if I could speak, and thank you all for being here. Born and raised here at Gardner. The hospital is no more.
Can you,
So
can you give your name and address for the
I'm
record?
sorry, I get ahead
Take
of
it in
myself.
my-
Forgive me. Robin Hartman Harris, and my address is, it's not right here, sorry, 34117 West 263rd Street, Paola, Kansas, but we are right by the Hillsdale Lake, and we get rural 2 water from Hillsdale Lake. And going back to this other issue, I care about people. My dad had the paper route, going back ways. I can't add much, and I wish I'd wrote it down, but I didn't know if I was going to be allowed to speak. Also, another factor on these data centers is, I'm sorry I don't have the facts in front of me, but they put out more heat, so around that area, you're going to have hotter temperatures. My biggest concern is, and I pray that you guys really do, like the other gentleman said, get an unbiased company, please, because there's a lot to this stuff. And you should do that if you're going to be really good to your citizens and do the right thing. You can. I looked up something. If anybody has a well, good. I didn't know this, wasn't sure. But to get a well going, and people that have wells, which people still can, they drill down so far it gets in the aquifer. If you want to worry somebody and worry me, don't touch the aquifers. I don't know if anybody's aware or not. Probably a lot of you are, because all this. They are drying up. And you got to be in a closet not to know this. Our aquifers are drying up, and who uses them? The farmers. And if these data centers, what worries me, if you don't keep a tight watch on them, guess what? They can poison your aquifers. And I know the other gentleman said he might not have said it's heavy metals. Heavy metals are not good for your body, like zinc, copper. But the big one that scared me, and I just learned recent, I've been on several things to try to learn stuff for the last few months. PFASs, forever chemicals. You don't want those, they ruin everything. There's no going back. There's no going back. So please, I plead with you, don't do any of this for money. Okay? Don't do it for whatever. Just do the right thing and take care of all your citizens. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jake Siller. I emailed most of you today, and I really appreciate those that got back to me. I live at 19425 South Hedge Lane, about a mile away from the proposed data center. And I understand that I may not live within the city limits, but decisions like this don't stop at boundary lines. They shape the growth and the long-term direction of the entire community, both inside and outside of Gardner. My wife and I are raising 5 kids there, and like many families in this area, we chose our home because of the space, the quiet, and the sense of community. I want to be very clear about something. I'm not against data centers. And as a business owner, I understand that growth is important, and I understand that infrastructure like this is part of the future. What I'm concerned about is the location. The proposed site isn't an established industrial zone. It's surrounded by families, homes, as you're hearing farms. people that are generating their livelihood, and people who intentionally chose to live outside of industrial development. This project is a major shift of how this area is being used and puts a heavy burden on those that live there. Obviously, we're educating ourselves. We know that this is a large-scale, multi-building data center campus. It's going to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. During construction, we can only expect heavy truck traffic, noise, disruption for exhausted a period of time. The presence of industrial infrastructure and ongoing operational noise will still change the character of the entire area. You're hearing broader concerns about health, water usage, energy demands, long-term environmental impact. And if you do any research at all, we know that those aren't new concerns whatsoever when it comes to these things. They're being discussed nationally. And communities across the country are being asked the same questions we are asking tonight. But beyond all that, I think there's a simpler, more important point to all this, is we have areas around Kansas City that are already zoned for this type of stuff. And places with established industrial use, existing infrastructure, fewer direct impacts on families. And, this seems like maybe the easy way for Beal. I'm not really sure. But if we can figure out how to put a stadium in downtown Kansas City, they can figure out where to put a data center that's already industrial zoned. And as a homeowner, I'm very concerned about property values. I'm sure everybody is. Proximity to large-scale industrial development, especially something with noise and constant infrastructure, can and does affect desirability. I'm sure none of you would want to live next to something like that. Even if you don't see an immediate drop, the way things are going to be perceived and who's going to want to live near there is going to totally change. I've already heard from dozens of people that are considering moving if this gets approved. That's not what we want for our community. As a parent of 5 kids, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about what this area is going to look like in 5, 10, 15 years. I'm thinking about whether we are preserving the character of this community or fundamentally changing it without fully understanding the consequences. I'm asking you as council members to listen carefully to everybody here tonight. Consider whether this project belongs in a community like ours or whether it would be better suited at a location already intended for industrial growth. Growth matters, but so does placement. Thank you for your time.
Hi. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I think I probably should speak. I don't have a summary paragraph and anything, but my name is Stephanie Guti. My parents, which is my daughter's grandparents, have lived in Gardner for 20 plus years. They live at 187th and Clare Road, which is right across the street where this data center is going to be. I don't know if you guys have grandparents or if you guys have grandkids or children, but my children are big time outdoors kids. They hunt, they fish, they love insects. We do 4-wheeling, rangers and all that. And I feel like with this data center, there's going to be a lot of issues for children to be able to spend time outdoors, especially Veterans Park, which is right down the street from where this place is going to be, where I know that there's several parks that are over there with tons of children that play, fishing that goes on over there. That doesn't even include wildlife, deer, turkey, all wild cats, dogs, whatever it is. The point is that I feel like that we are taking away from this next generation of people, of young adults, because I think we're moving away from what really a town is here for, and that's family and working together as a team. And I think right now with this data center, what's bringing to our community is not that. It's actually taking away from our community, and it's not here for us as a community. I think what will happen is if this is and truly voted in, it's going to actually pull away from people from Gardner, from Paola, from Edgerton. You know, after I've been here for 10 years, and over the last 10 years plus, there's been a lot of growing in this community, and we've dealt with a lot, like trucking companies, you know, truckers coming in, train depots, warehouses. So, you know, as a community, and speaking on behalf of these people here at the community, is that, you know, we've already dealt with a lot of stuff. So just to add more onto that, I don't think is going to be very beneficial for our families, you know. And not only that, but our next generation. My daughter, she has sensory issues. So just to know that with this data center coming in, it doesn't only affect like everybody, it affects children, it affects animals, it affects farm lives. You know, these are people that have been here for a long time, that you think that you know, you're okay with just having people move their ranches, their homes and stuff. I'm pretty sure that you guys probably have family homes that you've lived there for a long time or have been through generations and stuff. So this isn't just like one place where I just bought a house and moved. We're raising our next generation here, you know, and we have to work together as a family and a community to be able to provide a better life and stability for our next generation of people. Thank you. And children.
Hi, my name is Kayla Eisenbarger. My husband just spoke a couple minutes ago. I live at 24805 West 190th Street, Gardner, Kansas. As a direct neighbor to the proposed data center site, my family has a lot to lose if this deal goes forward. But arguably more significant, I believe our entire community of Gardner has much more to lose. I'm not going to speak at length about the physical dangers and impacts of a hyperscale data center on residents or the environment. Information regarding the noise pollution, strain on local resources, water usage, air pollution, and other concerns is readily available online if anyone is willing to research it. My husband and I have spoken with multiple of you council members already, and many seem to believe that Beal is capable of delivering a one-of-a-kind miracle data center that somehow avoids pollution and quality of life issues that communities across the country are experiencing right now. We have heard everything from promises of no noticeable noise to claims that our property value might actually go up. These same promises have been made to other communities where Beal has attempted to build. Let me remind you that Beal does not have a single fully complete operational data center at this time. How can they confidently promise perfect mitigation of sound, light, water, and air pollution when they have no proven track record showing that can be done? When they cannot prove success in being a good neighbor, what can be verified are multiple legal and ethical concerns. As my husband mentioned already, Beal has a reputation across the country for lack of transparency, questionable actions, including moving equipment into communities before votes have even taken place. Another example, close to home in DeSoto, concerns have already been raised regarding contracts and commitments after only a few months of construction. I have personally spoken with residents in other communities such as Claremore, Oklahoma, and DeSoto, where Beal is pursuing projects, and there's a strong sense of distrust surrounding this company and their words versus their actions. I also do not believe it should be ignored, as he mentioned, that Beal's parent company recently paid $11.5 million in federal penalties related to business dealings with a Russian oligarch. My question to our city leaders is this: why would you place your trust in a community or a company that comes forward with empty promises and a troubling track record? You say you want what's best for Gardner. You say you want to benefit and enrich the community, but I ask you to seriously consider what that truly means beyond projected revenue and financial gain. Our community should be able to trust its leaders to make decisions that are not solely financially motivated, but instead are grounded in integrity, accountability, and the core values that this city claims to uphold. Your people are speaking, and we insist that you listen. Hi, my name is Joanne Watson, and I live at 17740 Houston. I'm just under a mile from that proposed site, and I'm here tonight to plead, like everyone standing behind me, height challenged. I'm here tonight to plead with you guys to take a real look at what Beal Infrastructure is letting us know. They have given us a lot of promises and have not delivered, as many people before me have stated. I have a long list of concerns here that I won't go through. All of the people before me have already stated most of them. One of the things that I do want to also mention is the land use inefficiency. So that property is in the middle of a lot of farmland that is here for the benefit of Gardner. And this building would become a stagnant building. There's no foot traffic, no community interaction, there's no diversity, economic diversity. So placing that land makes that valuable property just dead. I want to talk about the opportunity costs that we're looking at. Gardner doesn't have an unlimited supply of water capacity, the power availability, or developable land. So make a really good, solid choice about what you put on it. I've also talked to, as the previous person that spoke before me, to a person from the data center from Claremore, Oklahoma, and like her, they are stating that there are a lot of promises that have not been delivered on. And so I really plead you guys to do your research on Beal Infrastructure. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Dressler. I live at 217 West Colleen Drive, just down the street here in Gardner. The people of Gardner are speaking very loudly that we absolutely, under no circumstances, want this anywhere near our town. Welcoming it in because it allows us, quote unquote, control is a thing that nobody actually believes. It's very nearsighted to be generous at best. Spring Hill fought it and won. And now Beal's coming down the street, and they're going to come to Gardner, and they're going to try and do the same thing, and Gardner needs to do exactly what the people of Spring Hill did and tell them no. We do not want this. Our children's future, health, and well-being and our community is not for sale. And you know what? They'll leave and they'll try and go to the next town over. And you know what we do? We go to that town too. And we educate those people. We will educate them on the environmental impacts that these facilities have. We educate them on the health impacts that these facilities have. We show them before they learn the hard way that DeSoto just did the other night of what happens when you let these people have free reign over your town. And they will. Yes. They will cut corners. They will pull a bait and switch. They've done it multiple times. That's why there's so much litigation with these people. We don't want that here. We vote no. We say it loudly. The council needs to heed the voice of the people that it was elected to represent and tell Beal we're not for sale. Yes. Tell them to kindly move on. And when they do, we'll go fight them there too. It's not worth our children. It's not worth our town. This is not worth the supposed tax benefit that they're potentially going to give, and that's assuming that we don't give any abatements or any credits or anything like that along the way, which I don't know what that looks like, what you guys have talked to them about. But if a tax abatement for 10 years, these facilities are obsolete in 10 to 15 years anyway. We won't see a dime, and they will rake in every last penny that they possibly can, and they will bleed this city dry. And we will be the ones left holding the bag. Cutting off our nose to spite our face is not a way to handle this. There are some fun little statistics about some of the data centers, some of which have already been talked about today. Obviously, the temperature increase, the heat islands that people talk about, the average raise of heat temperature within a 6-mile radius of these things is 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and it gets as high as 16 degrees. 16 degrees. That doesn't just mean that it gets hot. That's also people's bills are gonna go up because they're running the heater or they're running the air conditioner, HVAC's gonna go up, increase in utility costs, all of that. It worsens stress on people. It's gonna raise, it's gonna increase the strain on the power grid. Health risks for adults and children. The kids are the big thing. Think about the kids around here. There's noise pollution. An industrial-sized generator that they're talking about putting in on to do the cooling for this is as loud as a jet flying overhead. And there's not just gonna be one, and it'll be 24/7. It's not just gonna be for a little bit flying overhead. I'm an air traffic controller. When you guys fly anywhere, we make sure that you get from where you're going and you get there safely. You really want me to be tired because I can't sleep? There's the light pollution. The light pollution, they can say that they can contain it, but they can't. This thing's gonna be lit up like Kauffman Stadium. I don't care if the lights point down or which way they go. It's gonna be bright. There are people in Alabama who they don't even have to turn the lights on at night in their homes because of the bleed off that comes from these things that leaks into their homes. The air pollution. I know we've already talked about that. But the long-term impacts of the air pollution are increased risk of respiratory disease, increased risk of cardiovascular disease, mental health issues, increases to stroke, diabetes, adverse reproductive outcomes, increases in stillbirths, and increases in miscarriages. That is not what we want for this community. Water consumption and utilities. Now, it says it's air-cooled, and I'll say this just real quick, if you give me just 2 seconds.
Sorry.
Yeah, so, all right, understand.
My name is Dr. Justin Spees. At last meeting, I came in here and I let you guys know about a lawsuit that I had filed against Gardner police officer Kyle Sissom for intentionally hitting me in the Walmart parking lot with his patrol vehicle back on October 17th, 2025. And that lawsuit is for First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment violations. He was parked illegally up on a sidewalk in a fire lane adjacent to a crosswalk. I simply approached him and asked why he got to park like that, and then he hit me once with his truck, and then he hit me a second time. And I came in here last time and asked you guys to fire him or to force the chief to fire him and then have the chief resign. And I'm here tonight to ask why exactly he's still working there. I did an open records request to the Johnson County Sheriff's Office for the Walmart security footage. And I went and viewed that since the last time I was in here, and it's clear as day that that motherfucker hit me intentionally with his truck twice. So I'm back here again to ask that you all, first of all, review the footage. I recorded the whole thing. It's on my YouTube channel, The Dreaded Rabble Rouser. I encourage everyone to check it out. And then also to view that security footage as well. You'll see how guilty he is. No charges, of course, were filed on him, of course, by the Sheriff's Office or the Johnson County prosecutor. And so I've heard quite a few people in here tonight talk about the noise pollution that's going to come from this data center, and I want to let you guys know what that's going to sound like, what a data center sounds like, and what it's going to sound like in the neighborhood, and let the community know what that's going to sound like as well. much time I got?
46 seconds.
So we got that to look forward to. And I was just telling Deputy Chief here and there that I told him so about SISM one more time. They covered it up. Gardner PD covered it up, and the Johnson County Sheriff's Office covered it up as well. Appreciate your time.
Hi, my name is Cassie Sparks Keel. I live at 25530 West 99th Street. I'll start by saying one of my neighbors just asked me, said that I should ask which one of you would want to move out there. And I think I know some houses that will be up for sale if this does go past, so you'll have many to choose from. I was born and raised in Gardner. When my husband and I decided to start a family, we decided to move to Gardner and to that area for many reasons, mainly of which are our children, and that is all in jeopardy. The argument I've seen the most is that if you don't bring this to Gardner, it will go right next door and you won't be able to control it, and Olathe will have it. I think that argument is flawed for many reasons. Number one being the false that you would have control. I think that's been brought up by many people, that Beal does not uphold their agreements, and there's a lot of evidence to that. I would ask you, as the elected officials who are making this decision, that you call those communities and ask how Beal is as a partner to do business with. I would bet you wouldn't get very many positive responses. I would also ask that you do, like many others have said, and ask for an independent study showing that these mitigations that they're saying that they will make, that are going to fix all of the problems that you see in studies that are all over the news, CNN, all over the country. I would ask that you ask for an independent study showing that those impacts to the health and the environment of your community would not be there. And lastly, instead of just saying, if you can't beat them, tax them, which I'm sure many of you will recognize that slogan, I ask that you find a better way. It's clear that most people don't want this. It's clear that Spring Hill doesn't want this. It's clear that Gardner doesn't want this. And we're not far apart. Spring Hill and Gardner are not far apart in that area, so I ask that you guys work together and find a better way other than just rolling over and saying they're going to come anyway. Thank you.
My name's Jerry Nichols. I live at 1121 East Park Street. I wasn't planning on saying anything. I didn't know anything about this. Shows how ignorant I am. But I know my wife, she's from Chiapas, Mexico, and they don't have zoning laws. They have a bar right across the street from my mother-in-law, and they play music real loud, and it disturbs everybody, but they can't do it. And I'm not saying anybody here, okay, but their police is corrupt, their city council is corrupt, and I'm not saying anybody here. But you should do something. I'm not against capitalism or making money, but the Bible says that the love of money is all the root of evil. I'm not against making money, but if you have a company that's got a problem and has problems, I love Gardner. I've been here 25 years. I keep quiet. I try to be a good citizen. Don't try to start no trouble with anybody, because I want to be a good, productive citizen. I don't want to be in politics. You know, I'm not political, but the things you do, you should have conviction about the stuff you allow and the stuff you don't allow. If you do something that destroys people's livelihood and you destroy land and water and all that, excuse me, I'm not trying to be political or biblical, that stuff's evil. because you're destroying people. And I'm not saying anybody here is doing anything illegal. I don't know you that well. I met you just one time. But everything you should do with a conscience and conviction that one day when you leave this world, you're going to have to give an account how you lived your life. God's holds every person responsible and accountable for their actions. And I'm not saying anybody here that's doing anything wrong. I'm not. But if you allow a company, if it's that bad, I don't want to listen to that noise. I love where I live. I love this community. I'm from Leavenworth, not the penitentiary, but the town. I love Johnson County. I love Gardner. And I try to do things respectfully and decent. I wasn't going to say anything. I didn't even know anything about this. But I just want to let you know that when you do stuff, don't allow something that destroys people's life, even children. You know, I want to live an old age. I don't want some company to come here and poison everything. I mean, it was time for me to die. I feel like my heart's ready to meet the Lord. But I don't want something in here to destroy Gardner people. And I don't want none of you to be hurt by anything, because our families matter. My daddy's got dementia, and there's a reason why sometimes I don't pay attention to news, because I'm just trying to take care of him and my mama. And I love this community, and I know I'm repeating myself. I do apologize. But many times people become wealthy. I'm not saying anybody here is doing it, but under the table and stuff, it needs to be out in the open. And like they said, have an independent group to study this company. And if they're wicked and they cause problems for people, don't have nothing to do with it. Rebuke it. Amen.
Mayor Winters, members of the council, my name is Doug Shane, and I'm the state senator for Senate District 37, representing Gardner, as well as the northern tier of Miami County. I want to thank all of you for serving in some of the most difficult positions in the political world. Local politics are the most challenging politics, and I know that each of you is working for Gardner's better future in your own way. I'm quite confident that all of you have spent time looking at this issue, have already spent time discussing mitigation measures, but tonight, our constituents are wearing their hearts on their sleeves, and they're telling you where they stand. I know that there's still a long way to go for a project like this, and I can promise that there will be many more opportunities for economic development for this community. But you can, in the short term, take action to prevent unnecessary work, unnecessary burden, and unnecessary spending. All of these companies, when they look at developing these major campuses and major infrastructure projects, will spend millions and millions and millions of dollars in architectural design, engineering, planning, environmental abatement, all of that. There's no need for this company to have to spend this money for this community when the community has said, no thank you. I understand this is also a great opportunity in some ways as you look to the future of trying to deliver property tax relief and bring new opportunities for the community. But I have received certainly more phone calls and emails on an issue I don't have control over than almost any issue this legislative session. And it matters to this community. And your decisions will matter for this community. And I am confident you will find better opportunities for this community. With that, I just want to say thank you. I'm always available to members of this council and to my constituents as well. And thank you again for taking the time to listen to everybody tonight.
Okay, my name is Carrie Schmidt. I live at 30125 West 187th Street. First, I'd like to share that Representative Bill Sutton voted yes to allow the 20-year sales and use tax abatement for data centers, which passed via SB 98 in 2025. He supports this hyperscale data center being built in our city. With that, we are now looking for a professional voice speaking out against the data center vultures and someone who believes in private property rights over profits that can run for state representative against Bill Sutton. His time is up. June 1st is the deadline. Time is of the essence. We are taking applications for someone with these qualities, so reach out to me via Facebook. My name is spelled Carrieschmidt. Who knows? We might have our new Republican state rep in this room right now. So, all right, so I had a speech, and then I had to throw it away because around 5 o'clock, and I received my Cora request from the school district. So I'm winging it, and I never do that. So bear with me. We're just gonna kind of go through some stuff together. Just sharing. So February 12th, 2026, and they've redacted all the Beal names, okay? So I enjoyed meeting you this morning. And this is from, it looks like Tim Brady, okay? Yes, Tim Brady. I enjoyed meeting you this morning and learning about Beal infrastructure. This is February 12th. You have a major project taking place in Gardner that is exciting. Please let me know if I can do anything to help you. Feel free to reach out to Jalen Freeman, coordinator of Real World Learning for USD 231. I've copied her to this email so she knows, blah, 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 okay. I'll post these, trust me, okay. You showed some interest in our golf tournament that we co-host with the Chamber of Commerce. If you enter a team and or become a sponsor, click on this link. Okay, so that's from February. Wait, let me see, if you go down. Oh, no, that's Tim. That's the same thing. These can sometimes be confusing, I'm so sorry. Okay, so then invoice, this says invoice, Gardner Edgerton Schools Foundation. It is 4/29/26, and it says, please see the attached invoice. It's from somebody from the school district, okay? And Tim Brady is CC'd on it, but it says, please see the attached invoice. Let me know if you need anything else. Have a great afternoon. I may have this invoice sent to me. I don't know. I have to look. So again, we got to do some work. Okay, so then 4/29/26 prep invoice. It's to USD 231, Tim Brady. And if you don't know, Tim Brady is the executive director of the Gardner Edgerton School Foundation. I probably should have said that from the get-go. I'm so sorry. So Cassie, please and this is Tim, I think, to Cassie. Cassie, please prepare an invoice for the following $10,000 platinum partner, Beal Infrastructure. Okay, so we're gonna go on. So we said 10,000, that's great. Then on 4/29, it's Tim Brady to Brian Huff, our superintendent. Do you have time for a brief phone call? See, so there's some shady stuff going on, right? Are we picking it up? Okay, yes. And when I say shady, I'm thinking, why are they reaching out to in February and we're building a relationship and all of that? Okay, so then this one is 4/29/26. Beal Infrastructure Group sent you a payment, and it's in the amount of $10,000. You'll receive this payment via check in 5 to 7 days, no action required. Yay, okay, so, and that was on April 21st. But yeah, okay. So then here's this. I know this is the company proposing to build the data center at Clare. The meeting went as though I promised would be a good partner. The person we met with was John Michael Hanley. He is the Beal counsel. He is very interested in helping with our RWL initiative. He will be reaching out to Jalen Freeman, who for more information on this. Yes, I know. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing all of this. All right, you sold our children out for money. That's what you're doing. You're selling our children out for money.
Hi, my name's Courtney Crawford. I live at 30842 Indianapolis Road, and that's Paola, Kansas. I am a candidate for Kansas House District 5. I am here tonight not just as a concerned citizen, but as someone who will carry constituents' voices to Topeka, God willing. This is the main issue that pushed me to run, as we are fighting one right now in Osawatomie. I am running to ensure decisions that are made protect our farmlands, our way of life, and our future. I urge this council to oppose the proposed data center development. These massive server farms promise economic growth, but will deliver heavy burdens on Kansas families, farmers, and serious contamination risks. Data centers are power hogs. They will strain our grid and drive rates up for everyone. Kansas values clean air, clean water, and productive land. We shouldn't gamble that away for corporate server farms. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Whitney Rockwell. I live at 29557 West 196th Street. I had a whole speech. I'm cutting it down to just real quick, let you know how I feel. My family and I moved here 3 years ago. We chose Gardner because of the convenience of being close to larger towns, but also the beautiful open space around. Everyone has spoken about how they feel about data centers. They've spoken about the truth about what data centers really do to the environment, to human health, to animal wildlife. I ask that you listen to the voices of the residents who live here, who work here, who send their kids to school here, and who want to raise their families here. She works at Good Sense. This is my daughter, Desiree. She wanted to come up here too. I have kids that work at QT. I've got a son that just got a job at the car wash in town. We all live here and work here. We care deeply about the future of this town, and I urge you not to approve this data center in Gardner. Please prioritize a development that protects the health, the safety, and the character of our community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Desiree. I didn't even want to speak today, but I was sitting out there. There's no young people, so I'm 16. I graduated from high school early, and the more that I never honestly thought about the whole everything. I've never looked into the topic until it's become to this and being talked about with everyone and all the problems, and I didn't realize I would have to learn about it at such a young age because it's now affecting my future and anything that's going to happen in my life, any friends, family, my education for college, choosing specifically, and it's going to have to be more thought out because who knows what could happen and what might happen with AI and computers and taking over jobs. I don't really have too much to say. I wasn't prepared. I talked to my dad a lot about this, and he's very smart on it and knows a lot more, but this is just, it's really bad. It's never really been good, even when it's not being built, data centers and stuff. When it first started, it's always affected animals and our lives and how things grow. So I think this is an absolutely terrible decision. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Warlena Pennington, and I live at 24855 West 190th Street. I am Kyle's next door neighbor, and I was also not planning to speak this evening. I also work at the post office, so I live here, I work here. I have 2 children that go to Trowbridge Middle School. We are in the community. I moved out here in 1993. And when we drove out here, it was dark, and it got darker, and it got darker. And my parents, when I got in my driveway, my parents said, "Welcome home." And I'm from Shawnee Mission, Kansas. So it was a very big culture shock for me to see this community grow the way that it has, to see that I'm not just 2 of Black students graduating from high school, that there are more because my children also go to school here. Is important that we leave a legacy for our children. And putting this data center across the street from us and in our community is a very, very bad idea. I am also married to a farmer in Edgerton, so I understand the agricultural process that this will take a big impact on. It's a horrible idea, and I didn't realize how much this was going to really impact me until I came this evening, until I started speaking with my neighbors. I used to manage a data center, so I understand what will happen. I understand the diesel generators. I understand the sound. I understand the sound waves that it will produce, the light. It's gonna interrupt our environment, not only across the street from me, but for miles and for this community. Please take strong consideration in any decisions that you guys make or any decisions that you have made. Please reconsider. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Taylor Fawcett. I'm at 26889 West 226th Street, Spring Hill. I just wanted to come up. I wasn't going to speak, but everybody else is doing it, so I felt like I should join the team. There's been a lot of great points tonight. My whole list of concerns was all addressed except for one thing, probably a couple of things. But the main thing is I work for a general contractor. I've built a lot of big projects, not just around the KC Metro, but all over the Midwest. The one argument that, or the one benefit that I've seen on Beal's website and through social media posts is all the construction jobs that are going to come from this project to town. That's not correct. When you build this project of this size, even remotely, this size, or and sometimes a fraction of the size, you're bringing in work from out of town. You're bringing in work from out of state. The biggest project I've built to date is a very fraction of this size. And even then, we're hiring folks from Texas, from Kentucky. All of our steel work comes from Kentucky for projects, for big box projects, such as like car dealerships and warehouses. They're not local. They're not coming to town and hiring a bunch of people that live in Gardner to work on these buildings. And frankly, not even from Kansas City. I mean, that's just not how it works, and I think it's a little misleading. They need to expand more on what they mean by that if they truly believe that's true. Another thing too is just on the environmental thing. Everybody here has brought up a lot of good points about the environmental impact, but I think what scares me the most and my family the most is what we don't know. The whole thing about heat islands, that's a fairly new. I don't even know what to call it. It's fairly new research. I mean, data centers have been around for quite a while, but the whole thing about heat islands is pretty new. I mean, there's the big CNN article that came out on it was less than 6 months old. So I fear that with the ballooning data center expansion throughout the whole country, I fear what we don't know. And I think all these data center developers really should probably do their own research. Expand on their own expand on their own engineering, figure out how to build these better and more favorable to environments and to people like us. And last point, so I may have a Spring Hill address, but my whole life is in Gardner and Paola and Spring Hill as well too. We're a family of 6 where it's all chaos, sports, school, you know how that goes. But I will say this, I'm proud of Gardner for being here and supporting the vote for no on this development, and everybody from Paola and Spring Hill is with you guys. Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joey Kramer, and I'm at 18515 South Mulberry Court. Everybody has an opinion, but nobody's opinion is ever right. Everybody knows that. But the men and women sitting in front of us today represent everybody else that's here and every other man, woman, and child in this city and surrounding areas. I grew up on a dairy farm, and it breaks my heart to see fertile farm ground get turned into cookie cutter. I mean, yes, people need places to live, but in the movie Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Quality of life is very, very important. Putting a data center in here, you are going to deplete quality of life for people that you represent, that you guys have been elected to represent. And without the quality of life, nobody's going to want to live here. And what happens in large industrial areas? Crime. So many things that the people that have lived their whole entire lives here for have never seen. That's why they're here. You bring in a data center, quality of life is immensely going to be dropping down. And you guys were elected into these seats to do what's best for everybody sitting in front of you, everybody that's coming up here and talking to you, and everybody else who is not able to make it because they are home with their family. That's all I got to say, but just make sure that whenever you guys end up and think about having these conversations with the powers that may be, think about the people in front of you, think about their children at home, and think about your children as well. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Julie Bergeron. I'm at 11945 South Arborview Lane, Olathe, Kansas. And I know you have a big job to do, and I appreciate you hearing everybody. The one thing that I would like to point out is Kansas Senate Bill 98, which I'm sure you're well aware of, was enacted in 2025, and it establishes a 20-year state and local tax exemption. It is designed to attract large-scale permanent data center developments in the state of Kansas. So you've heard everybody, you've heard their concerns. Nobody's even gonna get any money out of this for 20 years. I hope you'll take that into account, because there's nowhere else in the county really. The county does not give out abatements, and they don't give out star bonds, is my understanding. So this is a state program, and if you're not gonna benefit from it, if these guys aren't gonna benefit from it, who is benefiting from it? I do have a little bit of skin in the game that we do have some cattle that are right next to where this is gonna be also. So it's a little bit for selfish purposes too. But please really think about what the economic impact is going to be. It's not gonna be for these guys. So thank you kindly.
My name is Phil Bowen. I live at 19155 South Hedge Lane.
And I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, so if I ramble, forgive me, please. But the main reason I came up here to this mic was to say thank you to my neighbors and my community for standing together and sticking together like I've witnessed for the last 60 years of where I've lived. My parents first bought property in 1967, moved us out here in '69. My wife and I raised our children in the same corner. My daughters grew up there. They now live in the same area. I have grandchildren in the same area, 4 generations that's lived there. I'm proud of the people. Almost every one of them that spoke tonight, I witnessed move into that neighborhood at some point in time. And I'm not against development at all. In fact, I was a masonry contractor. I was even part of putting the brick on the building we're in here right now. So I'm not against building. But what happens to a community when other people move into it, the community gets stronger. We've witnessed death, we've witnessed birth, we've helped each other during snowstorms. We've done what a community does to stick together, and that's what we're doing again tonight. We're trying to stick together and get a message. So I'm really not trying to pull on heartstrings. I just want you guys to know that if a data center moves in, it's not only turning the dirt up, it's going to turn the families and the communities up. Because they don't add character to it. They don't bring in other gifts that other people do when they move in the neighborhood. They bring in trouble, frankly, is what happens. So think about that. And one other thing I haven't heard mentioned tonight, if we allow a data center to go there, which was kind of contrary to what the original plan was for that area, if I understood the original plan, what happens to the adjacent land next to that? Will home developers want to build there? No. Probably not. No. It'll probably be more industrial type buildings that want to be there. So it's just not this 300 acres that you're setting a precedence for. That's right. It's for the whole community around there and how far out that goes. So think about that. Thank you, neighbors.
My name is Mike Piran. I live at 19365 Clare Road, which puts me about 3 blocks from where this is going to go on. I've raised cattle for 69 years and 43 of them on that piece of ground that we've got. I'm not finished yet, but I'm getting close. We've got a shallow earth well right in the middle of our farm. And the thing about this data center is we don't know, nobody knows what could happen. And there's a lot of water that I've got 55,000 gallons of water a day that runs underneath my farm into the ditch and eventually down to Hillsdale. So we don't know for sure what this data center, even if things go absolutely right, we still don't know what's going to happen. And I wanted to thank all of my neighbors for coming out and voicing their opinion, thanking you for listening. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for the time and your attention this evening to listen to all of my fellow citizens speak. We're Kansans. We're reasonable. We're
Can
rational.
you say your name and address for the record?
Oh, I'm Adam. I live 2 doors down from the last gentleman that spoke on Clare Road. My family just moved in the fall. This was a dream for us. Beitler, 19485 South Clare Road. We moved in the fall. This was a dream for my family to leave Prairie Village and to get a home in the country where I could give my 4 children, who we homeschool, the life that they had always wanted. Now you see, my fellow citizens have spoken about many, many great claims already, but I do want to elaborate more on the economic perspective. As the gentleman 2 people ago talked about, this will destroy the value around the property and make it less desirable for developers. So if we're thinking about this reasonably, the short-term win of gaining any type of revenue and jobs locally from a data center is going to be diminished by the lack of development that happens around there. So if you're thinking long-term, not short-term, it's a loss. I think that if we look at a recent example of Overland Park over the past decades, they've won. When you look at top cities to live in the country, Overland Park is one of the top cities to live in. And they were strategic about their development. Well, what is that? It's single-family homes. It's parks, it's restaurants, shopping centers. That's what people want. That's what makes you desirable. You start putting in data centers, and everybody will assume, when are you letting in the next one? Where will that go? And then all of a sudden, nobody wants to live in your community. So what happens to property values? They go down. And as we all know, we're reasonable Kansans. Your tax revenues will decrease. So I'd implore you to think about this from an economic perspective. Again, we've heard great scientific claims from the rest of my citizens here, but let's think about it economically. So if you put an end to this data center proposal, that'll put a stake in the ground. It'll put a stake in the ground until everybody considering to live in the Kansas City metro, I can live in Gardner. I feel safe there. I can move my family there on 10 acres and give the kids the dream that they want without you yanking the rug out from under them. I hope they'll consider making the stand with the rest of us that Gardner is for families and the long-term future and success of this region. DeSoto made their own bed. Let's let them lie in it. Nobody wants to live there. I've spoken to many people who are thankful that they didn't win a contract on a home in DeSoto and live near the Panasonic facility or other proposed data centers. I have two other points I'd like to make besides the economic one, which I think we all agree is very important for the future and success of this community. And that is, have you guys driven on 175th Street? Yeah. Straight along here towards Highway 169? It's an absolute eyesore. An absolute eyesore. I dread driving by that every week. Do you know what? Nobody wants to live there. Nobody's going to develop that land and put in single-family homes or shopping centers because they have to look at those darn warehouses. Yeah. Now, when we think about these warehouses or a data center, it brings in heavy traffic, semis upon semis, which not only are the noise we've heard my fellow citizens speak about, but it's safety. I dread it when my wife, who homeschools our 4 children, has to get in the car and drive by these semis all the time. On Clare Road, with all the construction going on there, which is inevitable. That's what happens when you live in Kansas City, a great place to be. These trucks are driving down there on Clare, and it's narrow. There is no ditch. There's no, the thing on the side of the road. What do you call that, guys? Shoulder. Thank you. There's no shoulder. What happens when some tired truck driver is driving and he starts veering into the lane with my wife? And her minivan's gonna get plowed in, and I'm gonna get that phone call from the police officer. I'm not asking for you to make a 4-lane highway on Clare Road, but I do want you to think is those warehouses are a drag on the entire community. Yes. Those warehouses bring in the truck traffic. Those data centers are gonna hum like crazy. Thank you for your attention, I appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Jason O'Kane. I live at 18804 Skyview Lane, Spring Hill, Kansas, in the Foxwood Ranch development. I literally just was at Spring Hill City Council meetings for data centers over there. Luckily, we dodged a bullet so far on that one, but I feel like we have to keep watching our back, and it's awful. The amount of work that the community does to combat this is amazing. Yeah. is tireless. These people talk to each other, they communicate, they research, they do all of this stuff on their own time. Nobody's being paid for any of this. Nobody. And they come out here to inform, to make sure that their livelihoods are taken care of. Now, I'll be brief. I'm not going to get into a lot of stuff. Everybody made awesome points. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Just remember, when you guys vote yes for this data center, it's on you. Everything's on you. When you vote yes on this data center, people's lives, any hardships they have, illnesses, anything that affects their life is on you. It's your decision. You can sit here and listen to us all night. I know you guys don't make any comments. It's kind of weird. Honestly, they don't comment back, and I get it. We talk, you listen, but it's on you. And the people around here in the Kansas City metro area are tired of it. Yeah. I mean, it really is. We're just tired of it. It's hard on us, constantly worrying about our future and our kids. So do the right thing. Yes. These people are predators. They prey on small towns. They prey on your development and developing these towns. They're not good. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Do the right thing.
I'm Amy Morris. I'm at 26170 West 199th Street. I should have brought notes. It's past his bedtime, so I hope he's okay. But I have a few questions. If this gets zoned industrial, some other folks have mentioned this already, but what happens to the adjacent properties almost immediately is that they will also be zoned industrial. If that happens, the property value of the majority of Gardner is going like straight down. Yep. Another question I had, I haven't heard anything positive. So is there anyone that has and I'm gonna ask you guys too, what are the arguments for data centers? I haven't heard the positives yet. So I would ask for that. We have 4 kiddos that we homeschool here as well, and thank you, sir. We're actually just teaching our kids right now how to fight for something very important to them. So today we were out putting out flyers in the hopes that someday when they feel like they have something they need to fight for, they'll know how to do it. Because I feel like this is something that is just so scary for our area. What if we can't sell our home after this comes in and we're stuck next to it? And we're stuck down the street drinking water that I know you guys say isn't going to be polluted by this, but has that been proven? Are we getting that third-party company to come in and do the investigation for that? Because I really don't want to keep my kids in a place where there's going to be something less than a mile down the road. And the gentleman up here, Mike, I actually buy my beef from him. So I don't really want his beef to be listening to that all day. It's not good. So I don't know. We're saying vote no too. I want one of your hats, sir. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to us, and we're just all pretty concerned about this, as you can see. So thank you.
Hello, my name is Katie Penner, and I live at 801 South Cedar Street. First, I just want to say good evening, and thank you for all listening to us and hearing our concerns. We appreciate you all. I would like to do something, if I could. I would like to say a prayer. Thank you. Dear God,
I just want to thank you for the people here tonight. And God, I just ask you to give all these individuals wisdom, and that you would just seep into their heart and guide them during all of this. God, please calm me as I speak, and that your words come through me, and that I am not the voice that everyone is hearing. God, I just pray for the leaders in Gardner and the leaders outside of Gardner as well. Although they say that, this will just come to another town, God, just steer them in the direction to understand that we have a say. We don't have to say yes just because they think it might come to another town. God, I just ask you to be with those tonight that are feeling stressed about this, and to soothe their hearts and know that it is in your control and in your hands, and that you can do all. God, I thank you for the blessing of living in Gardner and the opportunity to raise my family here. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak. God, in your name pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you all so much. Sorry, I'm nervous.
Thanks for hearing us all tonight. My name is Rebecca Bryan. My address is 2445 West 191st Street, Spring Hill. My house is directly across from the parcel of land under consideration for rezoning. We bought our house in 2017. I jumped on it immediately. It was perfect for us. Close to Gardner, wonderful school districts. Close to Olathe for larger business, but still, the ability to have a peaceful life, wonderful neighbors, and we all know that generational land changes. People may want to sell. It may not continue to be utilized for agriculture. I am directly across the street from the landowner that annexed the property, and I've always known the urban sprawl, the suburban sprawl is going to creep into our area. I've always accepted that. I value development. I value community. But taking this land from direct agricultural zoning to industrial zoning in such a agricultural and rural community, whoever considered this, as the man said earlier, it will be on you. I welcome parcels of home across the street. I welcome a new subdivision coming in. I would gladly look out my window and see communities and meet my new neighbors. But bringing a potential polluter, backhanded business dealings with Beale infrastructure into this community is the absolute wrong choice. I have 2 children, and as everyone said it, you've got to take into consideration how many school districts, how many children are in the area, how many livestock communities, farmers are in the area. It just feels like something underhanded has been going on here with the way that this land has transferred hands. It should never go straight to industrial. And you guys, you know that there are states taking a stand and stopping any talk of data centers. Full states. Be a leader here. Show your community that you fight for your community, and you will not bring these dirty, contaminated centers with these underhanded businesses to your community. Build a residential area. That's 300 acres. You could put 600 homes at 5-acre parcels. Beautiful, high-value homes that will bring in people from the cities who want to live in a community that stands up to these terrible companies and shows that you want the right kind of development. I can't believe we're all here fighting it, but you better believe it. That's right. Yep. The sizes of these meetings are going to quadruple as the weeks fly by. We are all here together. And I really value your ability to personally research this, personally research these companies, talk to your communities, and make sure this community will be blacklisted. People are not going to want to move to somewhere who opens the door for terrible companies and completely uproots the life and surrounding land for rural homeowners that chose that life for a reason. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. Garrett Sass, 765 South Cherry Street. I mean, Gardner, we should actually be really proud. They're looking at something else besides a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
So, all right. Let's get on with Beal Infrastructure. So who are they? They were founded 2 years ago by Blue Owl Capital, and they're currently fighting 2 big lawsuits. One is for misinformation, and the other one is because they're suing the city because the city wanted to put the data center on the ballot. Is that really the business partner that Gardner wants or deserves? Health impacts. Harvard and Caltech, just in Northern Virginia, are estimating $53 million to $100 million in annual health damages. Is that what we want to bring to our community? I guess the other thing is we have people with little kids that are coming in, and some people are like, is that a little grab? My parents both worked at Jeffrey Energy Center. If you look at that, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's a reason for it. They also have their own water treatment plant. It's self-contained, and they also have built their own reservoirs. Back on the children's development, the electromagnetic fields that are output from the sub-generators and substations do have an impact on their neurological tissue growth. And so if we're gonna have that right in our backyard, again, everyone's admitted, all those houses are not gonna be worth anything, your property values are gonna drop, and no one's gonna wanna build out there. Is that Gardner's plan? We're just gonna go with a one-trick pony moving forward? You guys need to target more diversity, more manufacturing, but you guys want to either just do fast foods or you're gonna take this big home run shot. Thank you.
Nathaniel Plon, 238 East Coling Court. I'm probably not going to be very popular here. I am neither for or against a data center. I have worked at a data center with Cerner, now Oracle and stuff. And if you actually do some research, yes, the first 2 pages of everything you research on a data center is all negative. It's all, they do this is bad, this is bad, they pollute, they do it. You have to go through and do more research. Just like with COVID, everything you researched on vaccines and stuff, it's all manufactured data, and they want you to believe that everything is bad. Data centers are unfortunately a requirement of our society. If we don't want data centers, then we might as well take our phones and our computers and throw them away. Because Facebook, Apple, everyone requires more data because more people are consuming data. They're using data. Hospitals, I work at Oracle. Hospitals are requiring more and more computing space, AI, and stuff like that to treat patients. I mean, you don't want it, okay, so maybe where we're gonna put it might not be the best, I can understand that. I saw a post that said all data centers are bad. Well, that's like a person saying, I don't like dogs, so nobody in my neighborhood can have a dog. I mean, it's not feasible. There's nothing wrong with data centers. I've worked at them. Is there a lot of power requirements? Yes. Do they use a lot of water? Yes, but technology has improved, and if you do the research, they do a lot of recycling and cooling of water. And the worst noise you hear is they do have diesel generators that can pump up when the electricity is out because the servers have to have constant power. And they test them once in a while, yes they do. Now when you do the research, they have berms, they're gonna try to mitigate that to the best of their ability, yes. I am neither for nor against this, but what I'm against is this horrible, it's like all data centers are bad and we can't do this and it's gonna pollute and it's gonna do this. I've been listening to, like someone was saying about, micro temperature rises in the area. I've been listening to the sky is falling and global warming for over 40 years. It's not that big of an issue. I don't care how big a building is, yes, and I will agree. The warehouses out there, we got a ton of warehouses and stuff out there. A data center, what's the big deal? But the big deal, I do agree, is that it would bring a lot of revenue to the city. And the jobs that it would employ are high-paying jobs. You have to have master electricians, you have to have, interface engineers, you have to have, network engineers. Those are high-paying jobs that it could bring to the city. So I was watching on YouTube and I had to be, give another opinion because people were saying, well, everyone here is against it. Not everyone in this town is against it. I've talked to people in this town and not everyone is against it. It's just the people, and I understand everyone is on that side of I-35 and it will affect them the most. But everyone on the other side of I-35, the other 20,000 people, it would benefit them for the tax revenue that it would bring in for the city. So are we gonna not do something because it affects a couple hundred people? Or are we gonna do something because it could benefit 20,000 people? So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephen Mabe. My address is 23905 West 191st Street. This isn't directly across the street from me, but it's as close as you could get. So I just want to introduce myself to my future neighbors because I can see you guys all wanting to move out there because this is such a desirous spot. If it's okay for, or is it just okay for us, but not for you? So I'm wondering, is there any commitment on your end, maybe 20, 30% of you guys move out around there, bring your families, bring your grandkids, because it's going to be a great place, right? It's where you want to. It's where you guys want to live too, right? Yeah, that's right. You can't respond. Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, my name's Curtis Blunt. I live at 19640 South Clare. And when you guys have heard a lot of facts tonight, I really just came up here to have a right brain relational experience with you guys. I have a similar story of moving out here. I used to live in the city. I lived in Roland Park, Kansas. I loved living there. It was actually a dream of mine for my wife and I to buy our first home. We could afford it there at the time. Started raising a family, thought we'd be there for a while. Had an opportunity to move out south here. I have family that lives in Spring Hill. My dad lives on the other side of 169, and it was important to us to move out this way. So we've moved our family out here. My wife stays at home. She raises our boys. They're all about being outside. But I guess why I'm up here really is just because I just want to tell you guys that it's like I really care about living out here. I care about these people. This has been amazing to see what people have brought. I don't need to bring any more facts to you guys. You've had a lot of facts tonight. I just want to tell you that it's like I live here, and I just want you guys to know that I'm not okay with this. I work in technology. I work for a company called Smart Pro Technologies, based out of Lenexa, Kansas. We do managed IT for people. We do hardware technology installations and new construction. I understand what technology is. We don't need this in this area. There's so many other areas that we could place something like this. I understand the value of technology. I think probably everyone in this room does. We all have our phones in our pockets. We understand what it means to operate in the cloud. It's the safest place to be is in the cloud. But we don't need a building at 191st and Clare. I just want to say it. And I think if you guys lived over there by us, I don't know each of you, and I don't know where you live, but I think you guys would be standing here with us too if something like this was coming to your backyard. That's right. Anyway, you guys have a hard job. I would not want to be sitting on the other side of the table where you guys are at. This is hard. And that's why I said I wanted to come up here and just have a right brain experience, relational, people to people, you know, sons and daughters of the King, fellow brothers and sisters. And I just want to say, I'm not okay with this. A lot of us aren't okay with this. And I don't think you should be okay with this. Right. All right. Thanks, guys.
Good evening. Thank you so much for your time. I really have appreciated that you've been so receptive to us tonight. I know that it's really difficult to hear a lot of opinions about things. And while I agree with a lot of the personal arguments,
Name and address for the record.
So I did reach out to several of you, and I appreciate that you all took the time to respond and that you are taking the time to consider all these things. On the other hand, I was really surprised that across the board there was a lack of energy toward fighting it. I was so disappointed that you didn't say, we're reaching out to all the governments locally to see how we can all work together to make sure this doesn't happen no matter what. So you're concerned about annexing and about the other cities taking the tax benefits, and I know that you've understood all the other implications in terms of scientifically, but I was surprised that you weren't being more creative and innovative about finding your own personal solution within our total region to make sure that it doesn't happen. Like, if we say no, if we vote no, how can we partner with everyone else to make sure that no one else says no and still puts it there? Because I know the location is ideal for what they're looking for. So I see that people from Spring Hill and Paola and Ottawa are here, and it shows that everyone in our area does care. And so I thought, why is it just the people that are expressing like a desire to look for the loopholes or a desire to halt this progress in terms of the data center and for the implications for our city? And I know that if it's still here, that would be just devastating. And I know that you said that most of you even referenced the intermodal and how you had rejected it, and yet Edgerton got all the tax breaks. I feel like we should learn from our past. We should learn from our failures, and that's a good thing. And so how can we take this project and kill it all together? Let's find all of the advocates. People have fought data centers and they have won. So we should fight together with everyone we can. We should look for ways to be creative, to be innovative, and to find other people that can do. This playlist is not new. They've been working on this for years. So there's nothing new about it. So why is it that it feels like such a huge burden for our city? We can reach out to others that have come before us and gain wisdom from them and gain community through building a huge support system from all over the country. So I just appreciate, and I would really encourage you to help us all find creative solutions to look for ways around it no matter what. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Jessica Horner. I've lived in Gardner for 15 years. I'm choosing not to give my address for safety things. We are building a home right on the edge of Gardner and Spring Hill, and I tell you what, I've already let them know I don't want my house if that's what's going there. I moved to this town from Georgia to raise my children. My oldest son's he started in kindergarten out here, and he's graduated out here. I have a daughter who's in high school. I have 2 more in the group. One's going into middle school, one's in elementary. I drive my kids to school. I'm very active in this community throughout the day, and I tell you in the last 15 years how it has just plummeted. I am tired of passing trucks left and right. I'm tired of our bridges falling apart. The main one that the bus drivers have to drive over every day with loads of kids or not safe. My dad worked in construction on bridges, and I know that you're not supposed to fill potholes on bridges. I'm tired of the damage on my cars. I'm tired of watching kids almost get hit. I'm tired of hitting my horns for all the extra. This is not a city for people to grow in anymore. It's becoming an industrial community. It's all businesses that don't actually impact directly here. Warehouses, but community. People don't want to come here anymore, and I'll tell you, people want to leave. The fact that I have to feel run out when I moved here to raise my kids is disgusting. Do better. Look out for the children who are growing up in this community. Look out for what they want to play. Do you really want all these parks and things, and then you have giant trucks running down the road? No. Do we want data centers? No, but you've heard enough on that. You can guess my opinion is heck no. Do you want to hear that all night long? Do you think these kids in our state testing is going to be better when you have all even more loud booms, cracks, buzz, noise going all the time? Because I know that's already happening. I even worked at the intermodal. So I know the impact, and I know that all those dudes actually came from other states. They brought them all in to build, so the jobs weren't here. They were paying other people from other states. Horizon Trails housed them. They gave them fully housed, furnished apartments to stay in. Those were all people from out of state. And guess where they went? Back out of state. Maybe consider that and what you're doing and how you're running the people out of your community who have helped build your community. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Rebecca Viles. I live at 19100 South Clare Road. I'm directly across the street from there. I'm on the Spring Hill side. Gardner's all around me. I like you, but I don't want this center. If you put this center in, I will lose value in my property. I'm a widow. This is the only inheritance my children will get. I'm not a rich person. I've taken care of this house. I have lived here since 1990, 36 years. I've watched it grow out there. I moved out there because it was a farm community, because it was country. We moved from Overland Park out here for that specific reason. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I want to say something. Sure.
Hi. My name's Joni Morrow. I live at 24545 West 191st, directly across the street from the big house across the street that sold the property to you. So I've been here in my house for 50 years. I've been to Gardner when there was nothing here but a two-way street and gutters on both sides. There was no grocery store. We were excited when Pizza Hut came. I've been 4-H county leader. I've done everything with the kids. I've shown Arabian horses for 45, 50 years. And this just really upsets me. Please don't let it go through. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I know it's not easy to get up and speak. I appreciate the points that were made. Everyone was very thoughtful in their points, very respectful. You gave us a lot of great information, and I know everyone on here appreciates that you've been here tonight. Again, no action will be taken tonight. I did want to mention we do have, we'll be having an executive session after this meeting, and that's just a private discussion. No action will be taken after that. Typically, we just come back and adjourn the meeting. I did want to be transparent about that. So, with that being said, I do. Oh, also, again, reminder: the 13th, May 13th, will be the town forum, town hall for Beal Infrastructure that they will be putting on. Correct? Yeah.
Wheat Ridge Middle School at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay, so we're going to get back on the regular session here. New business item number 2. Consider adopting an ordinance authorizing the city of Gardner, Kansas to make certain electric system improvements and authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds of the city to pay the costs thereof, all pursuant to Charter Ordinance number 28 of the city, Unit 1, gas turbine.
On April 20th, 2026, the City Council awarded Gas Turbine Unit 1 major inspection and upgrade service contract to Allied Power Group. Estimated project cost for Unit 1 inspection and upgrade is approximately $5.06 million, and then there was also a 12% contingency. This upgrade will be identical to the upgrade of Unit 2, which was successfully completed in 2025. And fulfills the 2024 Electric Master Plan recommendation to upgrade both turbines from LA to R models and perform essential water cooler upgrades. Proposed ordinance authorizes the improvements and documents city's intent to reimburse itself with bond proceeds from the issuance of general.
Can you speak up just a little bit? Sorry, it's kind of hard to hear. Can't hear you. We shut that door. Thank you.
So the proposed ordinance authorizes the improvements and documents the city's intent to reimburse itself from bond proceeds for the issuance of general obligation bonds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $5.84 million, including all associated financing costs. So this is a follow-up to a council item that you had at a previous meeting where you approved a contract. This is the financing to go along with it. It is staff's recommendation that you adopt the proposed ordinance.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any public comment on this item? Council, questions, comments?
One thing I do want to comment real quick, what's being shown on the slide does not match what the agenda item is.
Okay, hold on. The motions? That's right.
This one's right. This is good.
It did not say.
That one's not.
The motion's correct.
Yeah, it matches.
Yeah, it doesn't match the agenda item.
Okay.
So moved.
No. So moved?
Second.
All right. Motion Baldwin, second Deaton, we adopt ordinance number 2878, an ordinance authorizing the city of Gardner, Kansas to make certain electric system improvements and authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds of the city to pay the costs thereof, all pursuant to charter ordinance number 28 of the city, Unit 1, gas turbine. City Clerk?
Councilmember McNair.
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Yes.
Councilmember Dean.
Yes.
Councilmember Lee.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2878 passes. New business item number 3, kind of an interesting one. Consider adopting a resolution to opt into House Bill 2481, Section 2, allowing expanded hours for the sale of alcoholic liquor and cereal malt beverages during a specific date range commencing June 11th, 2026 and ending July 19th, 2026.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The state of Kansas recently passed House Bill 2481 in advance of the 2026 FIFA World Cup event. While some items in the bill are automatically applicable for Kansas municipalities, Section 2, which allows for expanded sales hours for both alcoholic liquor and cereal malt beverages for the duration of the 2026 World Cup event, requires municipalities to opt in. Currently, the City of Gardner allows retail original package sales from 9 a.m. through 11 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and from 9 a.m. through 8 p.m. on Sundays. Drinking establishments are currently permitted to serve between 9 a.m. and 2 a.m. daily. If adopted, this resolution would allow sales for 23 hours each day between the hours of 6 a.m. and 5 a.m. on the day immediately following. These expanded sales hours would be concurrent with the World Cup event, commencing on June 11th, 2026, and ending on July 19th, 2026. Under this resolution, restaurants and bars would also be allowed to serve liquor during these same hours for the duration of the event. On July 20th, 2026, allowed sales and serving times would revert to their current hours with no additional council action required. It should be noted that we have not received any requests related to this change. We simply wanted to ensure council had the opportunity to consider this item, as it does require an opt-in and is time sensitive.
Thank you, Amy. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, council, what kind of questions do you have?
Do we even have any businesses that are open during those extended hours?
Quick Trip, probably. Casey's.
Okay, Quick Trip Casey's.
Yeah, we haven't received any comment. Just
The
wanted
thought is they may open.
They may have extended hours
Right.
during the World Cup just
Right.
because they can.
Yes. So a drinking establishment, yeah, could
So,
have watch parties.
just so you know, both Kansas and Missouri passed this. So municipalities on both sides of the state line are considering taking this action at the same time. I know other jurisdictions that are opting in.
Do you know of any that are opting out?
Well, you don't opt out, you have to opt in.
I mean, we're not in, we're not a top bar hopping location. And this is 5 extra weeks of people doing who knows what in the wee hours drunk. So I don't see the benefit to our community to extend drinking for those 5 weeks, for the few that come down here after they got done partying in Kansas City, Missouri. So I would say let's not opt in.
Mark, I would tend to agree with you. I don't think just in the name of public safety and keeping our streets and neighborhoods safe for Gardner residents, I don't think we need people drinking and carrying on in the middle of the night. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I personally we don't know who's opted in yet, or do we have any idea? Have you discussed this, Chief, in any of your chief type meetings?
Just with the FIFA meetings, the fact that we've discussed it with peer cities that it's coming, but I don't have any knowledge of which cities might opt in.
Right.
From public safety, I think all issues that will speak for them share the same sentiments that everyone's talking about, that from public safety, quality of life issues, we all have the same concerns, that it could be trouble.
Okay.
But I can report just what I know from my other clients. I've heard Kansas City, Missouri intends to opt in. I believe Kansas City, Kansas is putting it on an agenda for consideration. Marion, another one of my cities, did opt in. Westwood, my other city, is putting it on their agenda. So people are considering it. I think the comment was particularly around like bars, restaurants. Sure, you can opt in, but how are you going to staff it? How are you going to find staff that normally get off at 2 a.m. and all of a sudden you got to staff up until 5 a.m. and then start at 6 a.m. So I don't know that there was a lot of thought that, particularly in the bar aspect, there was going to be a big influx where other chiefs from my other jurisdictions were terribly concerned about it.
I'm not sure that it much really matters who else opts in around here. I mean, I guess one of my thoughts I have is, if you go to a baseball game or football game or whatever, they cut off the bars at a certain time, even though the game's not over. So even if a bar is open and having a watch party until 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't see any harm in cutting people off at 2 o'clock in the morning, because then it gives them time to sober up before they get on the road. I don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I was raised by parents who are always like, you should be at home in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. If there's anything going on out there at 2 o'clock in the morning, you probably don't want to be part of it.
I just feel like it's going to cause confusion.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to be like, why are they open these days and not?
And not every day.
It's not consistent.
When I was young and growing up, my mother used to have a saying, just because everyone else jumps off the cliff doesn't mean you need to.
When I was looking at it more, you mentioned people coming down here to party. I'm just like, if
Why
other
would-
cities you made it sound in my mind like people are just going to come here because they can stay up until 5 instead of staying in their own city. But if other cities are allowing them to stay until 5, then it would.
But no, I'm just saying that there's no reason for them to even have the opportunity to come down further. Plus, we'll have 3 days of blowing up everything that they can possibly see.
and alcohol in the middle of the night?
That's, yeah.
With fireworks? What could possibly go wrong?
Okay, well, I mean, that seems like a consensus on here, so we
just won't take action.
We just won't take action?
Won't do anything.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. That concludes regular session. Let's go ahead and do council updates, and then we'll go to executive. You've been pretty quiet over there, Dave.
Don't have anything else to say.
Oh, all right then. All right, Jason?
Nothing tonight.
Jack? Kelly?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Chief?
Nothing.
Renee?
Nothing.
No, Matt? Finance?
More tonight.
Okay. Amy?
Nothing other.
The attorney?
Nothing for me.
You got off pretty easy today.
Could have been worse.
It could have been worse. City administrator?
Nothing tonight.
Tonight, okay. Councilman Johnson?
I just do want to say thank you to everybody who came tonight to speak during public comment, and to thank all the people who have emailed me and called me over the past couple of weeks. To the folks who came to the community conversation with Councilmember Ween and me. It has been really good to listen to everybody, to get a chance to put some names with faces, and just to have the chance to talk with you guys and to hear what's important to you, because that truly is important to us also. So thank you for sharing your time with us, for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate it.
Councilman McNair?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that came tonight and shared their thoughts and gave us their input. It was done very respectfully, very calmly, and I appreciate the way that it was presented. Many of you had things that are based in facts other than the data center stuff, especially when it comes to some of the zoning and some of the other things. You brought up some interesting points, and I can assure the entire audience that came here tonight to talk that I will consider their input very carefully.
Councilman Wayne?
I will also thank everybody who came out to the conversation we had last week and who came out tonight, took multiple pages of notes. So have lots to think about, and lots more to reach out to other folks and figure out what the next steps are. Thanks.
Council Vice President?
I'll echo those same sentiments. Thank you for everybody coming out. I've been on that side for 5 years. I came up to that podium and it doesn't get less nerve-wracking. So I appreciate everybody who took the time out of their evening to come out here to send us emails. Know that your thoughts are heard.
Council President.
Yeah, so I still have some emails to get back to, as you can imagine. But I did want to echo that that was good. That's the most I've ever seen since the intermodal. That's the most packed I have ever seen this building. And kudos to everyone that is involving themselves in the process. And I will reiterate what I already put out there, that just give us time so that we can fully vet the project, and then you'll see everything in a public meeting. That's it.
And I have nothing further, so I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Motion, McNair, second Eden. We enter into executive session to discuss attorney-client privilege related to the data center. Entering at 9:23. How long do you think? 15? Okay. Returning at 9:37. 9:38.
We need a motion?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All approved, all opposed, It is 9:38. We'll entertain a.
Motion to resume the meeting.
Do you have to entertain a motion to resume?
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to resume.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion Deaton, second Johnson. We entertain. Resume session. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? Back in session. I would move that I would entertain a motion to return to executive session for 10 minutes, starting at 9:39, returning at 9:49.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Baldwin, second McNear. That we return. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Do we need to clarify that it's to continue conversation about the data center? Okay, just extend.
resume regular session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Johnson, second McNair. We return to regular session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Back in regular session. And I would make a
Motion to
motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second Ween. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, abstained.
No more out.
It's very nice.